Well, we are back in the garage again today, continuing the build out of the Lowrider S. I'm actually just a few days shy of 2 months with this bike now, and considering it was brand new stock off the showroom floor, I'm pretty happy with the progress we've made at this point. In the last couple installs, one of the things I've talked about is my goal of setting up the bike to be a little comfier for longer rides, and we are going to be moving that along today by swapping out the stock pegs. The stock pegs, as I mentioned before, have got to be one of my least favorite parts of just how the bike comes. In fairness, I can't say that they're uncomfortable, but I don't think they look very good visually, and I can imagine that an aftermarket peg like I'll be installing today, it's not only gonna just make you feel much more comfortable on the bike, but obviously just do a lot to make it look better, even though it's a small thing. So this job looks like it should only take a couple of minutes, and we'll go ahead and get started. So I decided to go with the Biltwell XL Punisher pegs. Someone recommended them to me, and I really like the way they look. So just as a side-by-side with the stock peg, you can see it's pretty much the same length, but a little bit further width, and then also just not having, the round surface, but the good, flat surface area to rest your foot on should be a lot more comfortable. And then obviously the pins give you a lot more grip than this. So this process seems to be pretty straightforward. You just remove the C-clip on the bottom of this pin, push it out the top, and then I'd imagine you kind of have to undo the spring right here and pull the peg out. And then you'll just repeat the process with the aftermarket peg to reassemble it. However, I just noticed something a little concerning. I actually don't have a C-clip on the bottom of this pin. I have no idea how long that's been missing or what happened there. I haven't futzed around with this at all for the last month and a half since I did the new exhaust. So hopefully this has not been missing for all that time, because yeah, that's a little unsettling to be riding around with this C-clip missing. Thankfully this spring keeps everything pretty tight in there. I'm not going through drag and peg in any corners or anything. You really have to kind of be specific in pushing it to get that pin out. But I mean, with that being said, it's not like it does take a whole lot, so you cannot go without that. All right, so now I'm just gonna take a flathead screwdriver, pop this pin up and kind of hold the peg steady and see if that just relieves the tension on the spring. Yeah, it just kind of rolls off easily. Jeez, I got a little passenger, it looks like. Dead wasp or something on my peg. How do you get in there? All right, and then we'll just kind of remember to note, looks like this spring is not symmetrical, of course, so the long end came out of the bracket and the short end went into the peg, so we'll just have to note that for the reinstallation. And so now with these Biltwell pegs, they actually come apart, the peg and the mount, just with a single bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that on both of these, and then just install the mount back onto the bike first, just so then once that's secured, I'll be able to angle the peg how I want. It'll just kind of be an easier way to go about things. Once again, we're gonna put the short end of the spring into the new peg mount piece, just like that. And the long end of the spring is now gonna go back in here, same way it came out. We'll get the pin lined up and just kind of twist it back into place, and that spring's gonna get some tension on it again now. And then just sort of align those up. All right. And now, actually, I should have pointed it out, but the curved end of the mount is gonna be facing up so that when the peg's on here, it can swing up like this. So as you can see here, flat end down, and then the curved end up so that this can swing here. And this is where I'll definitely need to put that new C-clip, go get a replacement C-clip and put it right back on here so that this pin is not gonna come loose at all. And so now I'm gonna throw just a dab of Loctite on this bolt. And it'll go into the peg right here. We'll be able to throw this guy on now. All right peg is gonna go on. I think I'm gonna try just doing mine flat and see how I like that. It's pretty much as close to how the stock ones were, I believe. Get this a little bit snug. Then I'm just gonna hop on the bike real fast. Just kind of angle it with my foot. See how it feels good. Probably just like that. And then now go ahead and tighten it down the rest of the way. And even with the Loctite on here, can always go back and adjust that later, so I'm not too concerned. And there we go, right side done. Minus the C-clip we gotta get still, but that's how we look now. That already feels like a much firmer hold on the bike. I didn't really enjoy on the stock pegs after a while how much my foot would rock back and forward, and now this feels much more firm and like you actually have a platform to really rest your foot and not actually kind of have to hold it up rather than just let it drop forwards or backwards, because the stock peg just kind of had a rounder surface to it. So I've been riding on these pegs for a couple of weeks now, and I really enjoy them. I feel like especially in combination with the seat, you know, as I was mentioning, when you sit in the 2-up seat, you know, getting on the throttle, you don't feel like you shift around at all. You're really planted and secure. I would say the feeling is very similar in your feet when you get pegs. These ones are, you know, big and wide, not, you know, excessively, but the grip is awesome with the pins in them. And so I'm really happy with how they turned out. Just overall, not only do they make you feel a little more secure, they're just way comfier too at that point. You know, like I mentioned, I didn't really enjoy on the stock pegs how it felt like my foot, while I wouldn't say that it didn't feel secure, felt like the edges were a little more curved, whereas these are, you know, much more of a flat rectangular surface. Your foot doesn't have the tendency to feel like it can rock back and forth or whatever. I mean, it could if you felt like you needed it to, but it feels flat, it feels secure. Like you're actually just walking up a set of stairs or something. You know, there's definitely no slipping or rocking around unintentionally on the pegs here. I think they're definitely going to be a lot more comfortable for doing longer rides, which I feel like a broken record at this point saying that, you know, that's my intention behind a lot of the build of the bike. But that is still definitely the goal for a lot of the summer that we have left here. And the only thing I'm waiting on and why I haven't done those yet, frankly, is just the sissy bar. You know, I don't mind commuting with a backpack, but I wouldn't want to do, you know, multiple hour long days with a backpack on. The sissy bar is already ordered. The lead time on it was like 5 or 6 weeks, so it was a little long, but it should be shipping out literally any day now, and that's going to be, you know, a 10-minute install, and then I'm going to be probably hitting several back-to-back weekends for long rides that I have planned before, you know, the summer is slipping away from us. So I'm very excited and can't wait to get out there more.